IPMNation.com.
I'm Jesse,
And I'm Margaret.
creators of Harold the Happy Human Eater.
And you are listening to the local Outbreak on IPM Nation and 100.1 The Planet.
Local Outbreak on IPM Nation and 100.1 The Planet. This is Matt from IPM Nation, and we are here at the studio, as we are every week, at 50 Canal Street in downtown Laconia. TheStudioNH.com if you want to check it out online. And, of course, I also want to mention our sponsors, Sonic Wallpaper, Ryan LeMay, providing music lessons for people who wouldn't otherwise be able to afford it necessarily in the community, and he's doing great stuff. He and his partners with that. And, of course, Tweak Sound and Mastering, if you need some audio production done. TweakSound.com, Mr. Matt Marcil, he is right in Manchester. And, and of course, Central NH Events. If you need a DJ for your event, you can go to centralnhevents.com. And we have with us doing something a little bit different this week. A couple months ago, we did something where we had Kendra L. Saunders, who's a local author, and we had her on the show. So not a musician, but a local artist. And so we thought that was interesting. And then so this week we're doing something a little different. We have Jesse and Margaret Lundberg here with us this week. How are you both?
We're good.
Just fine.
And what'd you say?
I said just fine.
Oh, just fine. Jesse, we'll go ahead and get this out of the way. Jesse's not much of a talker, so Margaret's probably going to do most of the talking. But Jesse is an artist. And you actually, Margaret showed me recently some of your art on her phone. Very impressive stuff, and of course
she'll do that. Yep.
And you do have a comic book series, or actually maybe you have more than one. I don't know. I know there's one
at the moment
specifically that we're going to be talking about. And what's it called?
Right now, the one that we have out is called Harold the Happy Human Eater.
Yes.
I've got some ideas for other ones, but
yeah,
that's the one so far.
Oh, okay.
In the works.
This is the one you're focused on. And so what we're going to do tonight is we'll talk about that. And I've seen it. Margaret sent me a sample and really dig it. Like I was telling you off air, I mean, I've never really been much into comic books or into zombies for that matter, but I really like what you're doing. You put a fun spin on it. It's original. It's funny. It's very funny. I really dig it. So
thank you.
So we'll chat about that, and this will be interesting. I should mention too, of course, that Melissa is of course, Margaret, your mother, and
yes.
Your mother-in-law, Jesse. So
yes,
and she does own the studio here. So it's really kind of a family dynamic tonight.
It is, and it's a good thing that it's not a monster-in-law too, right?
Yes. Oh, like the movie.
Oh, yeah. Well, in general, a lot of people, really get down on the in-laws. And, I mean, both of us lucked out. I love my in-laws, and, well, I can't say that he loves my in-laws, but they love him, so it's a win-win.
Are you saying he doesn't love you?
I'm saying I can't speak for him.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying she's putting words into my mouth.
Or she's trying not to.
Or trying not to,
Exactly.
I guess.
But by not doing so, in this case, it implied, in a sense, that she was.
I'm so lost. This is what happens.
I know. This is what happens.
This is what happens.
Long day at work.
I can't speak for your brain. I can't say that you love my in-laws.
It would be dangerous if you could.
It would. That's why I don't try.
It'd be like some weird telepathy thing.
Exactly.
That
I mean, there's only so much. The whole, we finished each other's sentences. It's like, no, I just speak for him and assume that's what he also thinks. But.
Right.
Good majority of the time she's right.
Oh, well, that's good. That works out well. See, that's why you don't have to talk a lot then.
Yeah.
There's just no reason to if she's right.
Yeah.
If she's right.
The rest of it I zone out, so it's okay.
Exactly. The whole, yes, dear.
Oh, very good. See, I've never been married, so that's all...
It's like
I don't know if it's a marriage or just being around each other so much that it's like, just agree to whatever it is at this point.
I always got the impression, though, the yes dear thing is sort of part of the marriage contract, so to speak.
It was like last night she was saying, oh, you agreed to something, and I'm like, I did? When was this?
I think I was talking about this. I said, remember, it's local outbreak. You said you'd do it. I did?
I did? Like literally an hour ago.
Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to play something. I've got some music for us tonight. So we're going to open with Zombie Beatdown, a punk band from Keene. They've got a song called "Give 'Em Hell" from their EP Trauma Weekend, and could be a future guest on the show. We'll see. And then we'll come back and chat with Jesse and Margaret. So take a listen to this, and we'll be right back.
You can't back down from fight. Listen for what is right. Get us softly into the night. Just rage against dying up the lights. Give 'em hell. Give 'em hell. Give 'em hell. Every dance with efforts to change. And the chooses how you're sane. Cost is higher than you can believe. With the blood and the bruises, you're all free. Give 'em hell. Give 'em hell. Give 'em hell. Not enough to just show up. It's not enough to play to win. It'll drive you to the brink, but the scars just prove that you're alive. Give 'em hell. Give 'em hell. Give 'em hell.
Local Outbreak on IPM Nation and 100.1 The Planet. This is Matt from IPM Nation. We are here at the studio in downtown Laconia, and tonight we have Jesse and Margaret Lundberg with us. And so, what? Tell us again. What's the name of the comic?
It's Harold the Happy Humanator.
All right, and you were saying something during the break that you wanted to clarify regarding.
Oh, with the name of the band, I was just gonna say, our zombie is very peaceful and would not enjoy the beatdown.
Yes, no beatdowns from Harold. So tell us a little bit about. We'll talk more about the comic itself in a minute, but tell us about the dynamic here, because I know because you're the artist and you draw the comic, but I know Margaret helps you. How?
Well, it started out with a quick sketch that developed into little one-panel comics and then into the full story.
Yeah.
And in doing that, we kind of both worked on the first couple issues as far as writing it.
Okay.
And then I would draw, obviously. And now it's become a lot more she'll write, or we had one issue where we had a guest writer.
Oh.
And they'll come to me with a script. I'll read it, give my 2 cents for what it's worth. Change a few lines.
It is worth a lot, actually.
I'll change a few lines that I feel might aid the story along and sound more like normal dialogue rather than something written on a page.
Or my favorite, he'll tell me that it's too long. It
Oh,
can't be
yeah.
too wordy. That's my downfall.
Really?
I'm too wordy. I always joke that I write it, he tells me it's too long, I shorten it, and then he draws it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I tell you it's too long again.
Yeah, even after the shortening.
It's really trying to find the balance of what can you say in an image rather than say in words. So that's where I help. I help narrow down what she may have written into an action on the page rather than the actual words.
Okay.
But that's the way we've been doing it. I think we started issue 3 that way. And we've got 5 issues out now, and we're working on the 6th one right now, about a third of the way through it.
I can imagine how, and again, I've never been a comic book guy, but I can imagine how part of the challenge would be, trying to, like you said, say things visually, because it's obviously difficult to, you can't have too much text in there.
Yeah, it's interesting finding a balance. The other thing is some of the writing will also be like, oh, that might work if this was a moving picture, but I've got to try to convey something that would normally be an action on like screen to one still frame or maybe 3 frames and still get the same idea as to what is happening there. Like,
Yes. Erasers are the friend.
Yeah.
Many times he'll draw one thing and then stop and say, his fingers should be doing something else. He'll erase the hand and do that. It's like, maybe his eyes should be looking up over here rather than forward. And I'll erase and do it again.
Yeah.
Which is why, unfortunately, a lot of the artwork, he's the artist anyway. We had tried at one point to see if when he did a pencil sketch, if I could just trace over with a marker to try to help take on some of the load work. But because he sketches it, it's not just like one clean line.
Yeah.
First, I didn't know which line to follow, and then if he had a last-minute change of, I want the face to be doing something else, I wouldn't be able to make that change. I wouldn't know, and then
Right.
he'd have to have white out on top of that. So basically, I was just told to stay away from the artwork.
Yeah.
I think we
But-
determined that when we were doing the one panel ones.
Yeah, when we were doing the single panels, because it started as what would just be funny for a zombie who didn't want to attack humans, and
Yeah.
little like big gag visuals like playing fetch with the dog using the arm that's detached from the body, or giving coffee to the tired neighbors saying, you look more like a zombie than I do,
Right.
like just silly things like that. And that was when we tried experimenting with me inking, and I'm not an inker, but now that we're in color, I can fill in the lines. I can color within the lines just enough,
Okay,
and do the
okay.
base color, and then Jesse will come in with a shading. And even still, sometimes I have to ask, like, wait, is that part of his arm or part of a shirt?
Yeah.
Otherwise, that's when Photoshop becomes the friend.
Yeah.
That and when you give a person 6 fingers.
That was your fault. That I
know.
had nothing to do
Oops.
with that one.
I was looking at the page once I scanned it in. I'm like, something looks really weird with this person. Oh, that'd be the 6th finger.
Oopsie.
Yeah.
So, was part of the series not in color, and then you transitioned, or
The first 4 issues were just black and white.
okay?
And then the most recent one, the 5th issue, we've gone into color, and we're going to continue with that. It was people had been asking since the first issue why we weren't in color. It basically boiled down to cost.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really
They
expensive
kept asking
for
if we were
indie.
trying to be like The Walking Dead. It's like, no, that's the point. We're not trying to be like The Walking Dead. We're just
Right.
also zombies, but you can't get away from the cost of printing in black and white versus printing in color.
Yeah.
So basically, once we had a pretty good fan base, we kind of put it out to them. It's like, we're thinking about putting out in color. We are going to have to charge a little bit more. Are you okay with that? And everybody that responded was like, yeah, we want it in color. So
Yeah.
we were lucky enough to not have to raise it that much. I mean, it's about the same price as you would pay for a mainstream comic right now.
Yeah.
DC and Marvel are putting out ones that are $2.99 to $3.99. Ours is like $4. It's
And it's local.
it's local. To be honest, if you actually counted the pages in a DC comic right now, you're probably getting about. They say it's 24 to 32, but you take out all the ads, and how much content do you really have? We don't have any ads other than the one for the printer.
Okay.
So
Now, when you say it's local, so is it available only locally, or I mean, I assume you sell it online, right?
it's on. We do it through Square,
Okay.
Square Up, and there are local shops. So we have some scattered throughout New Hampshire right now. Always looking, when we do cons and stuff, which we've been to a con in Mass, New Hampshire, Maine. We're going to be doing Vermont next year, hopefully. So it's spreading a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, the way we get it into stores is we walk into the store, we say, hey, we have a local comic, is this something you would carry? And if they say yes, we leave it, and if they say no, we walk out with it. So it's not for a lack of wanting it to be in other stores, but
Yeah.
there are some, stores in Maine and Massachusetts, Vermont, that we can't always just go there for a day and walk into, and
Right.
I am very much a face-to-face person. I don't want to just mail stuff and say, hey, here's a thing. Do you want it? I'd
right.
much rather get the personal connection with it. And so it just makes it more difficult that way. But, I mean, for people who ask and they say, oh, well, you should be at this store. It's like, well, if you're able to get us a contact information, and that we can try. So,
Yeah.
right now
We've had that
got-
happen a few times at
Yeah.
different cons where they'll say, "Oh, have you been at this one?" Well, no, not yet.
Right.
Doesn't mean we don't want to be.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
just logistics of a lot of the time, because we like traveling, and being comic fans ourselves, we do enjoy actually going to these shops, and
Yeah.
we try to support them when we can.
Yeah, right
But,
now we're in 5 different stores, 2 of which actually aren't comic shops. One is the all sports cards in Laconia, New Hampshire. It's in the same plaza as the Subway. It's right on Union Avenue, I think it is. He's got some, as well as his sports cards. And then Annie's in Laconia, which is out going towards Guilford. They do have some.
Okay.
We were able to actually have a book signing there last February. Because even though they do sell used books, they really are trying to build up their local section, and so knowing artists and authors
And their
from the
comics in
area,
general.
yeah, and they do. They wanted to build up their comic section because they'd have a lot of kids coming in asking for graphic novels or manga and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
they're trying to build up that section, which is nice. So they have copies, and then both Double Midnight locations in Concord and Manchester have it. And then there's a comic shop in Exeter, New Hampshire, actually called Stairway to Heaven Comics, and they're carrying it as well. And for people
Wow,
who are
good.
fans of Stephen King, that is actually Joe Hill is Stephen King's son. He's also a horror writer, and he
Oh.
does his own graphic novels. That's his comic shop, and so
okay.
we've
Well,
actually
it's
bumped
not,
into
it's
him
not
a
the
few
one
times.
that he doesn't own it.
Well,
he
it's not
frequents
one he
that one.
owns it, but it's the one he visits to and gets his comics from there. So
Okay.
just a cool little fun fact.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
And also Jetpack in Rochester.
Oh, that's right. We are in Jetpack
Oh,
in
okay.
Rochester.
I've been in there,
So then 6 stores.
Okay. Oh, that's excellent. And I assume the plan is to just kind of keep expanding beyond New Hampshire.
Yeah, hopefully. We did have some in Vermont, but it was in a record store.
Yeah.
It wasn't really their thing. Good friends of ours. It was just, he was like, I'm expanding the record section, so I really don't have room for this, but I want to support it too. And so,
Yeah.
but we did have some there. Yeah, and I think maybe Stairway just opened in Portsmouth,
Portsmouth.
another store. So who knows? Maybe Brad's
and
brought some over
another,
there.
Shield Comics in Meredith. They don't have our full lineup, but they do have issue 1 for sale right now. He took some of issue 1 just to see how it would sell, and he's in contact with us. So if people come in, if people are closer to Shield Comics rather than wanting to go down to Concord or Manchester, they can go there. And if they tell him that they're interested in picking up the comics as they come, we can make sure that gets facilitated there as well.
Excellent.
Or people can find us at a con or go to our website and buy it there.
What is the website?
Oh, goodness. It is squareup.com and then / I want to say it's a long one because when I was setting it up, I didn't realize.
linked
I
through
think it was
Facebook.
Harold the Happy Human Eater Lundberg Graphics. I'm pretty sure if you go to our Facebook page, there is a link that
Okay.
hooks up to it where it can say shop now. And if you click that, it should bring you right to the square.
So that sounds easier. So is there there's a Facebook page specifically
Yes,
for
the
comic?
Facebook page is Harold the Happy Human Eater.
Okay.
And that is separate from the Facebook page where Jesse's comic artwork is. And that's at conventions, people can ask him for Batman, Joker, Deadpool, basically your run-of-the-mill Marvel DC superheroes, and then he'll do his own custom drawings of them. So that
Cool.
is on Lundberg Graphics.
Okay, yeah, I want to hear more about that. We'll talk about that after the next song, but let's we'll play another track here, and this is a band I found also in Keene called Zombie Fighter. This is some heavy stuff. This is called Unleash the Wolves. From their release, Run for Your Life. So we'll take a listen to this, and then we'll come back and chat more with Jesse and Margaret Lundberg about Harold the Happy
Human Eater.
Human. I keep
Yeah.
wanting to say people for some reason.
Oh, no, just think of the alliteration.
I think it's 'cause I'm
Harold
thinking
the
of
Happy
that-
Human Eater.
I think I keep thinking of that old song, something about...
Oh, the purple people eater?
Yeah, I think I keep thinking of that because I relate everything to music, whether I want to or not. So it's human, yes. Human.
Yeah.
Harold the Happy Human Eater.
Yep.
Got it. Okay.
HHH.
Okay, that's a good way to remember it. All right, next segment, I will definitely get it right.
All right.
All right, we'll take a listen to this. This is Zombie Fighter, and then we'll come back and chat.
Unleash
IPMNation.com.
Local Outbreak on IPM Nation and 100.1 The Planet. This is Matt from IPM Nation. We're here at the studio as we do the show every week at 50 Canal Street in downtown Laconia. And tonight we're chatting with Jesse and Margaret Lundberg about Harold the Happy Human Eater, Jesse's comic book, and Margaret's involved in that as well. And we're also talking before the break about so what do you do at some of these events, Jesse, where you're drawing? Is it caricature drawings that you do for people, or
Not. I have done those.
Yeah.
No, usually it's just fan art. Essentially, someone will be like, normally I have a book, or now we have a stand open with a whole bunch of sketches I've done in the past.
yeah?
And they'll flip through, and if they like one of those, they'll purchase it. If they look at it and like, I really like this style, but I'm not a fan of Batman. Can you do Superman? And I would be like, yeah, sure, I can do that.
Yeah.
Or, the guys from Portal with an Walker being ridden by a
Rainbow
My Little
Dash
Pony.
from My Little Pony.
Margaret showed me that one last week on her
God.
phone. Is that the strangest request you've ever gotten?
To date.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've had some funny ones, like Flash giving Deadpool a piggyback ride. Or Deadpool holding the baby Groot was pretty funny. Yeah, I mean, a lot of them have been
Definitely one where I
somewhat
had to...
normal.
Yeah, one of them where I had to ask, okay, what's the story here? And it's like, I just wanted to see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Magneto and Wolverine sharing a drink, except Magneto didn't drink, and so he was using his magnetic powers to prevent Wolverine from pushing a beer towards him.
Oh, yeah.
That one was interesting.
Yeah.
Basically, just whatever people come in mind and see. Somebody wanted to see Duck Dodgers and Darkwing Duck on the same page, so did that.
Is it mostly that kind of stuff usually, like superhero stuff and comic book stuff?
A lot of the time.
A few video games.
A few
Okay.
video games. Had someone actually commission a Herald one. Then I've had some where it's turned into larger commissions outside of the cons.
Oh, good.
Like I'm gonna be working on one. It's Jack and Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas being married by Hellboy.
It's going to be a wedding present
Yeah.
because apparently the bride likes both Nightmare Before Christmas and Hellboy. And the gentleman who was telling us at the convention mentioned that, and Jesse kind of joking, like, it's like, have Hellboy marrying Jack and Sally, and the guy was like, yes, that's perfect.
Yeah,
So
that was a good idea.
Then I've done someone as a zombie. Supposedly he was going to get it tattooed on him. That
we
was
haven't
it.
heard a follow. Doesn't mean that he
Yeah.
hasn't.
Had someone that wanted Harold so that they could get it tattooed on him too.
Again, I don't have a follow.
Yeah.
It might happen, though.
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
knows?
They're like, okay.
We're still small peas.
Anybody ever kind of stump you, like where you have to say, I don't think I can draw that. I don't.
I've had ones where I kind of wish I hadn't drawn them, but
Like what?
Everything he doesn't know, he just does a Google image of.
Yeah.
There was this, because it's funny we mentioned the one that had Rainbow Dash. We got tricked into that one because when Jesse first started, I am going to tell this just because part of it is my fault too. He always said that he didn't like really the style of My Little Pony. He, gets that people appreciate it, and that's fine. But
A lot of adults are into it now.
A lot of adults.
I'm not saying
a lot
it doesn't
of
have a
adult
good message
males.
and,
Oh,
and,
no,
and stuff like that.
It's just the
art
particular,
style's not my favorite.
Yeah, the artwork style is not his favorite. So,
And
one of
I
the
don't think I
first-
do it that great a justice either.
Yeah, and so one of the first conventions we were at, when I was the one, because basically people tell what they want the commissions from me. I'll pass them along to Jesse. If I'm not sure what he would charge for it, I just kind of nudge him and say, hey, what would this cost?
Yeah.
Or how long would it take you? So Jesse said, I don't really want to do My Little Pony, so if anybody asks, just tell them, hey, sorry, doesn't really like that style. So this guy comes by and he asks, oh, can you do Shutterfly or Fluttershy? I don't remember what he
it's
said.
Fluttershy.
And I kind of looked at Jesse and I said, "Do you know that?" And he says, "No." And so Jesse kind of chimed in. It's like, "Well, I can always do a Google image of it when I get to that, and then I'll draw from whatever that Google image is." The kid said, "Okay." So he pays. I write down my little Post-it note and I put it online for what he has to work on next. So he finishes the commission he's on. And mind you, the kid is already gone, so we can't call him back for the mistake.
Yeah.
He sees the name, he looks it up, and it's here. Oh. And it's a My Little Pony. So had the kid said Rainbow Dash first, I would have been, oh, okay, I know Rainbow Dash.
But then again, I haven't gone out and like made a list mentally of all of them, so that could happen again.
So the one with the portal and the AT-AT walker, like I said, it was trapped. Jesse was away from the table, and this kid said, "Okay, well, you know the video game Portal?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know the video game Portal." He's like, "Okay, well, you know how in Portal 2 you have the two robot characters?" "Oh, yeah, Peabody and Atlas." Okay, so I write down Peabody and Atlas, and he says, "I want them standing on either side of a portal." I'm like, "Okay, standing either side of a portal. And inside the portal, I want an AT-AT walker from Star Wars." I'm like, "Okay, I see that." And then he's like, "And I want Rainbow Dash riding the AT-AT walker." At that point, I stop, and I'm like, okay. And then I ask a few more follow-up questions, like, "You mean, like, should it be the same ratio, like, person to horse, or should Rainbow Dash just be super tiny on it because it's a big thing?" And so we get that all settled away. Jesse's away from the table, so I just sent him a text like, "You have a commission, and I'm sorry."
You were hoping for a Rainbow Dash super tiny, though, right?
Well, he ended up something so small and just do a tiny little rainbow smudge. But no, it was funny. I told Jesse, I'm like, I was trapped into it. I was too far in. I couldn't say no.
And like I said, it's not that I have really anything against it. It's just it's not my style of artwork, and I just never really gotten the manga and anime style. I have friends that can do it and do it well, and I don't think that I can pull it off as well as would make somebody happy.
Sure.
Right. I mean, because basically it's the large eye style, and manga anime especially seems to have a lot of like angular shapes and kind of disproportioned body. I mean, it depends on the one you follow, and it's not that it's a bad artwork, it's just like Jesse said, it's not what he does. So usually we'll try at a convention to try to scope out the people who do that artwork style. So if somebody comes to us, we can say, "Sorry, we wouldn't, he wouldn't be able to make it look the way you think, but it looks like this person over here does do that artwork style."
Yeah.
Because there are so many different styles you can do.
Sure.
Some people like what Jesse does, and some people don't like what Jesse does, and that's just part of it. But everybody kind of gets that.
Do you do a lot of these events where you go and do that, or
quite a
fair amount?
A fair amount.
Yeah.
Well,
not as much as other artists, but we're still growing, and
some artists
trying to figure
basically make their whole year profit just from doing conventions during the summer.
Wow.
A lot of people basically from like May till September or so. A lot of people that's all they do. They just go for the weekends.
Wow.
Right now, because we're still small and starting up, our risk is that it is all out of pocket. So we, events like New York Comic Con or Boston Comic Con, which are these big giant shows, you have to put so much money down as an artist, and we don't know that we're going to get that back. So we hang back for the smaller shows with, I think the most expensive has been $150 for a table, and that was for a full weekend. And those, I mean, we haven't taken a loss. We've broken even on a few times.
Sure.
And, we try to find other ways to save on cost anyway. If it's an overnight, either driving home if it's close or finding friends to stay with if it's not. Little things here and there just to try to make up for that, because until the name gets to be bigger than what it is, it's just, we can't take that risk. We still have to eat, pay the bills.
And you're treating it like a business, which you should, and be smart about it.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as number of events, let's see. By the end of 2016, we'll have done an event in winter. That's coming up in the beginning of December down in Massachusetts. We were at the Zombie Walk in Meredith a couple weekends ago. We were at Granite Con. We did another show in Massachusetts back in June. We did a free comic book day event. We did a couple of book signings. So, I mean...
And the ones in Maine.
The ones...
MECAF.
Oh, yep.
Portland
MECAF,
Comic Expo.
So about 10 or so events in a year.
Yeah.
Like, just shy of a dozen, I think.
Wow.
Well, the model we used for this past year was something every month. And that something was either an event or a release for a comic or... For July, our event was celebrating the 1-year anniversary. We had a party here at the studio, and we had friends and fans of the comic come and just enjoy light fanfare and food, and it was nice.
Excellent, yeah.
But no, we've had, like I said, either 1 month is going to be, all right, here's where the new issue comes out, or here's a book signing, or here's
Or a radio interview.
Interview. Yeah.
Don't mind the yawn.
The time change. So
Yeah.
no, I mean we're branching out. We're figuring out where we need to be.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, we got to take another break, so we're gonna play another song here. Let's see, what have I got queued up? So we're gonna play. This is a hip hop group actually from Boston. If you're listening on 100.1 The Planet, you're gonna hear an edited version, but we'll play this. This is Zombie Death Squad. The track is called Closed Caskets.
So many angry zombies.
Yes, I know, right? But not Harold. Harold's
No,
happy.
definitely
Harold's
not.
the happy...
The happy human eater.
The happy human eater. I said I was going to get it right, and then I...
You got it on the intro. It was good.
Yeah, that's true. Harold the happy human eater. So, all right, so we're going to play this, and then we will come back and finish up with Jesse and Margaret Lundberg talking about Harold the happy human eater here on Local Outbreak on IPM Nation.
Can't believe y'all got me doing this all fucked up. It's the man with the ghoulish presence, just removed from heaven. Ain't the price of your life, I remove it in a second. Fucking peasant, this word is what I'm rapping, spitting at your dome like a million miles per second. Venom every word I spun like spitting with a certain song. All men are mice, that's why I'm gonna murder some. Make a hard ass piss, so yeah, that's for certain. Fun they said they don't like being drowned, so we're burning them. Bringing to the urn with them, pissing on the ashes. Do a backflip trick with my dick and get cabbage. Put a stranglehold on your battered soul out of dome. My savage blows will more than fucking shatter your bones. Now it's pep praising Satan in his statements, that's fatal words. Really, I don't give a fuck when the fucking pages turn. That is God, I am the end all, be all, perfect wordsmith, Caesar and retard.
Open cases and closed caskets, squadron, poker faces and cold madness, Boston, avenues and boulevards, zombies falling, stab wounds and bullet scars, drop the coffin. Open cases and closed caskets, squadron, poker faces and cold madness, Boston, avenues and boulevards, zombies falling, stab wounds and bullet scars, drop the coffin. Songs ain't shit, I rip it like my tongue is the grip, busting a clip, it's Ricky Mortis, rugged and sick, body a bitch with wicked wits, spit from the minds of the vividly grime, evil dick who severs your spine, ready in time to see life the way that I see it fit to murder morbid lyrics, rip through my music, starting the movement of loose and stupid zombies who bite, tripe, slice, dice, might try and eat you alive, verbal suicide, you could die, bitten by a brutal rhyme, evil lines sniffing through the mind of the true divine, God in his prime scene with blood in his eyes, open them wide, try to tell the truth from the lies, written in scribes, my ink's venom, devilish ties, Lucifer tried, recruit crews to move with the blind, but my squad's thick, raw shit emit from my coffin, lost trip with 7 arms, you'll be violent and heartless, godless. Open cases and closed caskets,
Squadron,
poker faces and cold madness,
Boston,
avenues and boulevards,
zombies falling,
stab wounds and bullet
drop
scars.
the coffin.
Open cases and closed
Death
caskets,
Squadron,
poker faces and cold madness,
Boston,
avenues and boulevards,
zombies falling,
stab wounds and bullet
drop
scars.
the coffin.
Zombie Death Squad, my army test guards and devils. Party sets off and my shoddy legs off. This is nothing. Getting the green, watching them scream. Caught in between two worlds with a positive regime. Lift up and drop a soul. Pick up, then lock and load. Sick fucks, we rock and roll. Stick ups for proper dough. Choking on pistol smoke. Open and slit your throat. Hopeless we hitting poke. Posting to spit the dope. Troops with screw faces. Nukes and suitcases. Loot like shoelaces. Shoot the 2 places. Cut in half by the fucking blast. Rugged rap, plug your caps until your mug and laugh while I pump and pass. 16 bars, I spit these hard. Pristine, far from soft, kid, I rip retards. Got a special education on the level with the basement. Shovel in the pavement, cause the devil has been waiting. Open cases and closed caskets,
Squadron,
poker faces and cold madness,
Boston,
avenues and boulevards,
zombies falling,
stab wounds and bullet
drop
scars.
the coffin.
Open cases and closed caskets.
Squadron.
Poker faces and cold
We rep
madness.
Boston.
Avenues and boulevards.
Zombies falling.
Stab wounds and bullet
Drop
scars.
the coffin. So now you see. It's the ZOMBIE, motherfucker. Zombie Death Squadron. ZDS. Murder, death, kill, motherfucker.
IPMNation.com.
Local Outbreak on IPM Nation and 100.1 The Planet. This is Matt from IPM Nation. And I want to remind everybody, of course, before we wrap up tonight, that Local Outbreak can be heard first every Tuesday night, a new episode at 7 p.m. Eastern on IPM Nation 2, and then Wednesday nights on 100.1 The Planet, if you're in central New Hampshire, also at 7 p.m., and then there's a replay on Saturday at 9 p.m. And, of course, we do archive all the shows at ipmnation.com/local outbreak, all the way back to the beginning of the show, since we're currently in year 6. It's been, wow, flies right by. And we've been chatting tonight with Jesse and Margaret Lundberg here at the studio about Harold the Happy Human Eater. I got it right that time.
There you go.
and some other things. And okay, so what should people know about finding online how to get the comic and where to go and what you have coming up as far as conventions and whatnot?
Probably the easiest is to go to our Facebook, and then there's a link to the Square store.
Okay.
So it's just go to your Facebook, search Harold the Happy Human Eater. It should come up.
Okay.
I think we're the only Harold the Happy Human Eater.
Pretty sure. Yeah. And
There's that one guy in Iowa.
Yeah.
Don't support him.
No.
Right.
No.
No, you'll know by the big green zombie head. We are also on Twitter for people who Twitter and Instagram with the username at Harold Eat Humans. And again, usually if you go to the Facebook page first, you can find a link there. And try to keep up on Twitter and Facebook. Most of the events that we go to, we try to post on all of those forums. The next thing that we're going to with Harold, I think, would be the Northeast Comic-Con, which is down in where in Massachusetts?
Yeah,
Wilmington, Massachusetts, at the Shriners Auditorium. That's they're doing a December show, December 5th and 6th, which is a Saturday, Sunday. Perfect chance to get in your Christmas shopping, and also if you're fans of the movie A Christmas Story,
Yeah.
a lot of the cast members from that movie are going to be there.
Oh, cool.
Basically, pretty much everybody but the main boy and the parents, but the younger brother is going to be there. Ralphie, I think it is. The kid who gets his tongue stuck to the pole, the bully and his crony, like all the actors from that are going to be there. They're getting people who are interested in puppeteering. They usually get people who are puppeteers for like Jim Henson, like Sesame Street, stuff like that. They usually
Bill
get people
Diamond
there.
Is going to be there.
Yeah, Bill Diamond, who worked on Fraggle Rock.
Yep.
Right? So, I mean, they have a lot of big names, too.
Annie Potts
and
is going to be there.
What?
Annie Potts from Ghostbusters.
Oh, that's
Oh.
right.
Janine.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And the not the new Flash, the original Flash, who actually
The
is
90s.
on the new Flash as the dad,
John
right?
Wesley Shipp or something like that.
Yeah. So I mean, they have their own big names too. It's a full weekend show. It's great. We were there at their summer show and fell in love. It was just such a great venue, and a lot of local artists there. And I mean, it really is just, it's great to go, and it's so nice for me to go somewhere and get good original artwork and not have to pay an arm and a leg for it. I mean, some people do have prints, which are great, and you can get multiples of those, which are fine, but a lot of people, make sure you scope out the people who are selling good original artwork, because it's nice to have something that only you have. So
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. And where are we now with, is it the 5th issue that's coming out, or is it already out? Or
the 5th issue is out. That was our first one in color. Issue
Okay.
6, we are hoping to have out in time for that December show. So that way it can be out for Christmas.
Glaring at me to do the work.
Well,
Hint, hint.
yeah. Well, this was
I'm doing pretty
back in the
well.
summertime. I said, "All right, Jesse, do you think you'll have the newest issue out in time for the December show?" "Oh yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine."
And then everything
September goes
else
through, and it's
turns
like,
away.
"Jesse, you haven't really worked on the comic. There's only so much I can do. Is it still going to be out in time?" "Oh yeah, I got plenty of time." And then October flew through, and he's like, "Oh, I should really work on the comic."
Yeah.
To be honest, I was busy with other things too.
Yes. Oh no, he wasn't just sitting around.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
definitely doing other stuff. But
Of course.
Commissions and
priorities.
All right. Well, thank you both so much. This has been great. Everybody, make sure you get since hopefully, if Jesse gets it done, it'll be out in time for Christmas. Issue 6 of Harold the Happy Human Eater. And
we're a quarter of the way through it, so
oh, okay,
Yeah.
good. You got a running start.
oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but no, thank you both very much, and everybody, be sure to go to the Facebook page for Harold the Happy Human Eater to keep up with everything going on with the comic. And we will wrap up tonight with one more track. We got a band called The Agreeables, and they have a song called Zombie Apocalypse. And this is really interesting. It's there's this Boston band, The Agreeables. They did a musical called Open Mic for the Undead. And the website is zombierock.com if you want to just find it online. Really interesting. And I gotta get these guys on the show. But we'll end with their track Zombie Apocalypse from that musical here on Local Outbreak. So take a listen, and Jesse and Margaret, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I've come to tell you about a time when your ego trips, your battleships, your friends left you behind. I've come to tell you about a time when a full eclipse of your dictatorships and your past starts to unwind. I've come to warn you, this can all be taken away. It all starts with a little coup and the zombie apocalypse one day. And the zombie apocalypse one day. All hail to the zombies now. All hail to the zombies now. Of a time before your microchips ruined relationships and the apocalypse left you blind. I've come to remind you of a time when your censorships helped our survival trips and your brains got reassigned. I've come to warn you, this can all be taken away. It all starts with a little coup and the zombie apocalypse one day. And the zombie apocalypse one day. All hail to the zombies now. All hail to the zombies now. White zombie, Revenge of the Zombies, World War Z and Pet Cemetery. I'm not a living dead before a dawn, and it's Sean the Resident Evil brand.
Bill Murray's so funny in Zombie Land. But I wouldn't pay for zombie strippers. 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 All hail to the zombies now. All hail the zombies now.
IPMNation.com.